Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today's project I'm actually going to be working on replacing my humidifier. I have a whole house humidifier, which is a mouthful, and it's about 15 years old, and it's pretty much, I think, gone south, so I'm going to replace it. But today's video is actually going to be showing you how I do that. I'll actually be able to show you how to remove the old one and install the new one. I've never done this before, but I've done some research. It doesn't look too difficult, so I'm going to jump into it. Also, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I got lots of projects going on around the house. And if you have a few minutes, take a look back through some of the back catalog. I'm sure there's probably a video in there that will help you on some of the projects you got going on around your house. So here is the whole setup I've got. That is the humidifier there on the left. It is a Honeywell. The one that I purchased to replace it is actually an Aprilaire. But as you can see, it has most of the plumbing and everything done, including the drain down in here. So what I noticed was this valve is actually leaking, and it was dripping water down. Actually, it was ruining some of this paperwork, and then dripping kind of down. I had a small puddle right about there. So I did a little bit of looking and investigating, and this thing is just kind of old. It's about 15 years old now. So right now I've got the water turned off to it. So it's plumbed from the hot water side right here, and it goes up and around and over to this right there. So we're actually going to be reusing this. So I need to disconnect all this and take this old one out. So if you've never looked inside and see one, this is kind of what it looks like. It was on winter, but I had it turned off. So what I'm going to do here now is actually remove this whole thing. Actually, before I do that, let me show you the new one. Alright, so here I got the new kit, and this one is from Aprilaire, but I did some research to try and make it work so that way it has the same kind of airflow mechanism as the old one, so it should be, in theory, fairly easy to redo. It comes with the unit, comes with the manual sensing humidistat, I think is what this is called, and this comes with some hardware and some things. I also bought a kit that comes with the relay. I actually pretty much don't need the rest of this stuff, but really what I needed is the relay. The relay I have is still good. It's actually down, I'll show it to you when we get over here, but the relay is down in there. And it's 15 years old too, so I figured, you know what, let's just go ahead and replace it. But this is the relay that it comes with. This kit was about $50, and I think this was about $160 or $170. So all in, it's about $230, $240 plus or minus. I got some tools here that I'll need. A level. I actually bought some foam tape to kind of help seal it to the return, and I bought some tin snips that should help me in case I need to open that widen that hole a little bit. Alright, so let's get into this thing. I'll start dismantling the old one and we'll get to work. That thing's gross. Woo! And this filter wasn't even that old either. Alright, I'm gonna take this out and then take this off, disconnect this water drain too. Alright, well, I'm taking this thing apart, but there's something I wanted to point out to you with the wiring. That way it kind of shows you. So this is the cover is taken off, but this is basically the humidity controller. It's a manual humidity controller, and you can see it's just two wires. The builder, when this was installed originally, he put this travel line, basically he put this travel wire that went from where the controller is down to here where it gets tapped into, and then down into this controller, and then you have the relay. So the relay is wired in here, and then it has two yellow lines that come off that get tapped into where the this brown travel line that comes down. And then, because you can see they actually cut, I mean there's multiple wires in here, but basically they only are using two of them, this red and white one. And the red one gets tapped into the relay, and then the white one goes up into this control board, and this other yellow one goes into that one. And the nice part is that if you have to wire this all yourself, they supply you with the instructions on how to do it. Also, if you have like a smart thermostat that can control humidity as well, they show you how to do that here. But since mine is actually already done, I basically just have to rewire it. I am actually going to be replacing this relay because I got a new one. It is basically the exact same model, on number 50, and it goes in down here. So anyway, I wanted to show that to you in the wiring. That way you would see what, that way if you're wiring it in yourself, you'll know what to do. Alright, looking good now. I got the old one out, and this part just pops out and is kind of hanging there on the side. Still got my electrical stuff kind of hanging here, so basically everything is removed. Now what I need to do is take a look and see if this is going to actually match up size-wise for the replacement one. And I've already measured this one. This hole is a little bit small, so I will have to enlarge it slightly in order to get the new controller in there. And then this actually looks pretty close. I actually measured before I bought the new one, and it looks like it might actually be right on the money. But yeah, depending upon how I have to connect this thing up to it, I might have to relocate that just a bit. So let's get to it and see what happens. I'm not sure how good an angle that's going to be, but let's see. This opening is almost exactly perfect. I only just need to trim small amount out of here. This corner needs to get clipped, and this thing will actually fit right in there, which is awesome. The other thing I checked was how this pipe was going to fit up. It's actually just a little bit short. I don't know if you can see that I don't know if you can see that or not. See if I can move the camera here. Yeah, so when you have this set, this is actually just a little bit short. So it has a little bit of a, maybe like an inch gap. So I went and got a piece that should fix that. So this little slip fit thing, this part will slip inside of here, and then that part will go into the new one. So basically I just slip that in here, and then I should be able to put that on, and then bingo, done. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim this out a little bit so I can get this to fit, and then we'll be ready to start reinstalling everything. Something else I wanted to point out with this unit is that you can actually rotate it so that the vent is either coming out this side or on that side. They make it really simple actually, because this one's actually set up right now. See, the little drain is down here. This one is actually set up so that it blows coming out of the left side, and as you can see in my utility room, I actually need it to be in the reverse of this. So if you just pull the cover off, right here you can twist this plug and it pops out, and then on this side you just do the same thing. Twist the plug out and then swap it over, so that now the drain is on this end, and then you can put the cap back in on this side. You can also swap this around too, so you just pop this out. This goes right here, pop it back in, and boom, now it's ready to go. Alright, so the next part of this is to get this cut opened a little bit more. What's really cool is that the instructions that actually come with this is actually the cutout template, so you can actually use this to put up here and actually draw it out completely, which is wicked awesome. So that is what we are going to do. We are just going to actually widen this out a little bit and use a marker. Now I'll get my tin snips out and we'll cut the hole. We'll start putting it back together. So I got it test fit now. I widened open the hole a little bit with those tin snips and then just kind of bent the metal back a little bit. And now I'm actually testing it with the level, because you actually want this bubble to be level, because when the water comes up this pipe and puts it in here, it distributes it out and then it drips down into this pan. So you want this to, you actually want that bubble to be level like that. So this is good. I'm actually going to bolt it down now, but before I do that, focus. But before I actually bolt this thing down, I bought some of this, which is basically some foam tape, and that should actually help to seal any gap that it has along the edge there. So we'll go ahead and put that in now. Alright, now we can line this thing up, get it put in. And this is all plumbed in now. This is all nice and tidy, or this is nice and sturdy. You can see that that foam tape has got a nice tight seal to it, so it should be good. Alright, so I got this new box cut out now, so that way I can slip this guy in here. But if you take a look at this, the old one and the new one basically look identical, except the only difference is this one has a wire that's soldered on, and this one is a screw-on type. So what I'm going to end up doing is taking this white wire, and then I will wrap it around that, wrap it around the screw post, and then the red wire will get wrapped around this screw post, and then I'll refit this all back in, and we should be good there. The other thing that I noticed is the way that this wire comes down and the way that this solenoid needs to be connected. The old solenoid used to be, if you remember, was on this side. Well, that solenoid is now over here. So I'm going to actually end up, I think, using some additional wire. I'm going to strip some wire and then wire these in, because as you can see, it's probably about 10 inches short of what it needs to be. So I'm going to get some wire and I'm going to wire nut this in, so that way it's connected, and then I'll get it tidied up and kind of taped out of the way. That way it works okay, hopefully. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'll be done here in a couple more minutes. Then I need to hook up the water line, and then we should be good to go after that. Oh, the only other thing is I'm going to, it's kind of bright down here, but I'm going to actually replace this old, I'm going to replace that relay as well. That's the last bit, and then we should be able to turn it on and see how it goes. Alright, so the next bit to do is to actually connect up this water pipe to the solenoid. And luckily for me, it is the exact same fitting and pitch size, so all I literally have to do is connect it, which is great. So let me go ahead and zoom in here and I'll show you that part. This is literally the easiest part of it. And done. So the other part is really awesome, is that I just hooked up the drain line again, and it literally is perfectly the same height as the other one. So all I had to do was put it back into place. But if you didn't, this actually comes with it actually comes with a plastic tube that you could run down, but this is obviously the better fit. So you just put this thing all the way down and then drains into the hole. Alright, so we're almost done now. The only things I have to do left are to swap out that relay. I need to wire this in to these, and then I need to connect up and fit the screen, and then we can test run this thing and we'll be good. I actually have to connect this solenoid over here to this trigger wire, and clearly they're too short, so I have actually cut a couple of wires out and I've stripped the ends. Wire nut them in, going up, over, and around, and then wire nut them into these, and that should, I think, actually take care of that problem. And then after that, all I have to do is hook up this water line to the filter, and we're ready to go. So let's run these wires and see if this actually works. Alright, last bit is to put the filter in. Just make sure that this piece right here goes into the tube. Then you take your water feed line and place it into the top. Push it all the way in until it bottoms out. And now we're ready to test. I'm going to turn the water on, and then I can go to my breaker box, turn the power back on, and then we'll set this little dial up here and see what happens. Water's on. I'm going to put the breaker back on and we'll turn it up. Alright, it's kicking on. You see that's getting ready to kick on. Alright, there it goes. I hear water running. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have success. You can see the water is starting to flow down. It's starting to get wet on here, which is awesome. I don't know if you can see the water coming down through there, but it's starting to drain. Turn a light on here. Look at that. That is water draining. So we have a working humidifier. Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, I'm going to tidy these up, these wires here. I'm going to get them, so basically I'm going to get these wires secured so that way they're not just kind of hanging freely. Same thing with this over here. Last thing to do is put the cover on. Alright, well there you have it. That actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Took me overall, including film time, about an hour and a half. So I would expect probably a little bit more time for you to do the install yourself if you had to start from scratch. Because remember, I was actually just replacing my humidifier, not actually wiring it in from scratch. So I would say probably another 30 minutes or so on top of that. I think if you already knew what you were doing, you probably have this thing done in like an hour. It actually really is not that difficult at all. Anyway, so if you were thinking about doing this yourself, definitely give it a shot. It's not that difficult. Do it for yourself, do it at home, save yourself some money. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.